Peace, and welcome to another episode of the Grown Man Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Baif Nordine, and I have no guest today. Today is another solo episode. I will have guests coming soon. A nice myriad of voices that I think deserve to be in the collective. I'll say it that way. So definitely expect some more one-on-one conversations with people that I admire, people that I respect, people that I feel like journey through maturation is an interesting one, watching from afar. And I think that their perspectives in this platform will do justice for sure. Today, I think about my dad. Shout out to my pops. Rest in peace. Eugene Marion Reed Jr. He left a gem with me. This was quite a few years ago. We were having a conversation about, at the time I was going through it. And the, not advice, but the perspective that my dad gave me, I'm telling my dad, like, man, I just can't wait till I knock the doors off of this thing. I just feel like, man, I'm just closed in. And he said, well, son, that's the problem. The problem is there are no doors. There's no doors unless you want there to be a door. Just like there's no windows unless you want there to be windows. And there's no enclosure unless you want the enclosure. And I thought about it and I was like, yo, my pop's spitting. Because the truth is, whatever we believe ultimately becomes true. And not fake belief, not sometimey belief, not wishy-washy belief, but like legit belief, right? The kind of belief when you think about doing something and then you don't do the something and then something happens because you don't do the something and the first thought is like, damn, I knew I should have, right? That's what this is. Instead of having the thought of, man, I should have a podcast, because I'll be honest, this is transparency. I've recorded probably 20-something, 30-something episodes that may or may not see the light of day. Not because I'm ashamed of them, not because there's no purpose for them, but I feel like those episodes that I shot were, it's like a diary of sorts, like a placeholder for the thoughts and the feelings and emotions that I've been having over the past 2-3 years, right? But then one of the homies, shout to the homie Pop Vasquez, put the battery in my back. I mean, my whole team, they put the battery in my back. It's like, dog, you like talking, which is evident. Anybody that knows me knows I enjoy a conversation. And I also enjoy a healthy debate. That's a fact. Maybe it's the Gemini in me. Maybe it's the intellectual in me. Maybe it's the cynic in me. Maybe it's all of the above. But the truth is the truth. I like to talk. And why not do something with it rather than having these conversations that I know I've been having and not at least sharing? Another gem my pops hit me with was, when your purpose is bigger than your personal gain, that's when you'll be successful. And I've heard a bunch of people say some version of that. But coming from my pops, it like really, like it stayed with me. And my pops said this to me. My pop's been gone 2016. Damn, 2016, my pops passed. He probably hit me with that gem maybe 10 years ago, 11, 12, somewhere in there, right? But it just stayed with me. And it made me convicted to the point where you give what you get. You know what I mean? Like, or you get what you give. And if I'm giving for the sole purpose of just having this transactional experience with life that I put into it to get something back from it, it's really just one sided because I'm only doing it for me, as opposed to doing something that I know will enrich someone else. I'm also going to be enriched in the process, but it's a fair exchange. It's not me taking for the sake of taking, it's me giving for the sake of exchanging, and that exchange could have whatever value attached to it. Doesn't have to be monetary. Can be monetary. I'm not saying I don't, you know what I mean? Because I would be a lie. I enjoy having money. I enjoy having the means to do things with my family. I enjoy to have the means to do things that I like to do. I enjoy having the means to have the means to do the things that I want to do, right? So the podcast is that. It's me sowing the seed of conversation with intentionality, right? In hopes that it grows into something meaningful, something that when I'm gone, it's like, man, that platform meant something and it helped create a certain type of energy that just permeates, not just through my circle of friends and the people that know me directly, but the people who know the people that are guests and how it moves in waves with the people they know and the people they love, right? And of course, I have some questions prepared because I don't want to go too far off the rails. Um, and these are self-reflecting questions that, again, I haven't pondered on. I just find the questions that I think are good questions, and I tuck them, and then I revisit. This is the revisit. First question: where do I want to go? I want to go back to Cali. No, I don't. I do, but not in that sense. Where do I want to go? I want to go wherever my desires take me. I want to go wherever the love is. I want to go wherever the reciprocity is. That's where I want to go. And if it means that it takes me around the world, which I would love to. What? To be able to have conversations, meaningful conversations all over the planet with people, sign me up. Sign me up. The ultimate goal or the initial phase of the goal is 100 episodes. Why 100 episodes? Because I feel like at 100 episodes, I've weathered the storm. I've gone through the test of, does it really mean something or is it just something to do? And I can tell you, it's not just something to do. The last episode I did, I was here 2 o'clock in the morning. This was after shooting another pod. Shout out to What You Thought. And after everybody left, I just had this space that I didn't know what to do with it. And I felt like I needed to offload it somewhere. Here, getting past episode 10, which the average podcast doesn't make it past 3 episodes, 7 episodes. The numbers slide a little bit. To hit 10 is like a good mark for me. It says that up to this point, I've been intentional enough to put out consistent episodes that I feel like resonate. 100 episodes, that's like, and the way my mind works, I'm just seeing the whole thing put together a certain kind of way that feels good. Even if it's 50 episodes with guests and 50 episodes by myself, it's 100 episodes of intentional conversation or intentional dialogue that hopefully will spark conversation. Question number 2, what am I doing here? I ask myself that quite often, not in the sense of like, I'm not supposed to be here and how the fuck did I get here and all of that. It's not that. I ask myself that question just to be present, like present where my feet are, where my energy is, where my thoughts and my feelings merge, and I'm able to put a pin on what it is I'm feeling, where it is I'm feeling, and if something needs to be done, I can do it. And I don't know what needs to be done yet. I can kind of pause and reflect and figure it out. So what am I doing here? I feel like I'm doing something purposeful. And the purpose is what's driving me. That's just what it is. Question number 3, how did I get here? Well, when a mom and a dad love each other, I'm just bugging. How did I get here? So I got here. It's a lengthy journey through creativity. I'll say that. And the lengthy journey through creativity started with poetry. Well, it didn't start with poetry. It started with playing music, like picking up a clarinet at 7. It was a birthday gift from my mom. And shout out to my mom, Lucille. I love you. Thank you for providing all of this good energy in your son to put it out in the world, to share. My journey through creativity started. My mom got me a clarinet for my 7th birthday. I remember she came home from work, woke me up, and was like, happy birthday. Here's an instrument. I didn't know what to do with it. It probably took me like a good week to figure out how to put it together because, mind you, I was born in the 1900s. Shut your mouth. I was born in the 1900s. And in the 1900s, we didn't have like internet like that, especially in 1987. It just wasn't a thing. Not for public consumption and all of that other stuff. Like gigabytes weren't even a thing back then, right? So music, poetry, then I got into rapping, and rapping was just like, man, it's my first love. And I might go back to that. I've been talking to some friends. My cousin's a producer, did the beat for the podcast, you know, the one that you hear in the beginning at the end. Shout out to my cousin Kev May. Thank you. And as a rapper, I always found myself in a position of like, I know what's popular and I know what people want to hear, and kind of being stuck in a rock and a hard place, creating what I thought people wanted to hear versus creating what I felt inherently felt good, right? Developed my pen to the point where freestyling was just a thing, and being stuck in that creative energy was just, it's a feeling. It's like when you hear jazz music and the guy's just going in on a solo. He ain't write none of that down. All of that came in the moment. He was in the spirit of creativity, and it just comes out the way it comes out. And I've always had an affinity for that style of like ultimate creation. I didn't think about it. I was inspired to do this. And here it goes. So after music, clothing line, music again. And then I was lost. Like I was jaded for a little minute, just seeing how people move when they don't have money and then they do have money. And seeing people with power move a certain way and manipulate the power because they want, you know, favors. I'll say it that way. And I was through. I was like, you know what? If this is what it means to be out in the world and exercise my creative energy, I don't want no parts of it. I don't. I'll just be a regular dude living a regular life, making regular money, and that's it. But then I picked up a camera and started creating content. And then I fell in love with creativity again. Photography, videography, editing, you name it, right? And then, of course, being behind the camera and capturing all of these moments for a myriad of people and companies and organizations and things like that, I found myself into podcast production. And podcast production just lent another layer of servicing my fellow man, right? Servicing clients, servicing friends. Like, it just turned into this thing that I never even imagined doing it. Like, this wasn't like the goal, and then now I'm realizing the goal. This is like a 20-year journey, 25-year journey through the different iterations of what I consider creativity. And now we're here, the Grown Man Shift. I had Happy Another Day Above Ground as a podcast, made it to like 5 episodes. Didn't really put the energy into the intention, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And then I felt guilty about that. Like, oh man, I said I was going to do this, and then I didn't do this, and then I clamored away because I didn't do this. And not this time. This time is like all of the times that I said I was going to do something and didn't follow through. This is not that. This is like, when I say 100, I mean 100. Shit, 1,000, 10,000 episodes. But when I say 100, like, I'm really 100, right? Because why not? I didn't come this far just to get this far. I came this far through some choices I consciously made, some choices I unconsciously made, some choices I consciously made to appease, some choices I made consciously to not appease. And through all of that, here we are, the Grown Man Shift. And I'm proud. It's been a lot of things I probably should have exercised more pride in accomplishing, but having a limited mindset, like a scarcity mindset, feeling like, I'm supposed to be humble and, being proud. Pride cometh before a fall. All the stuff that just doesn't serve anything or anybody for any reason. So getting here took some time, and staying here is probably going to take more time, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad that I've moved enough energetically, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, that I can do this. There's no pressure to like, I have to make money from this, and the podcast has to be, and if it don't, then who knows what it's going to be. I just know that consistency is the thing that pays in any aspect of anything. As an artist, if you pick up the pen every day and you draw something, eventually you get good. With podcasting, picking up the microphone every day, touching it every day, it's proven. Look at your Joe Rogans and all of these guys who have 1,000+ episodes, right? So if consistency is the name of the game, then identifying what I want to be consistent at, how I'm going to be consistent at doing it, and the consistent approach to being consistent. Very, very long answer. How did I get here? But it's a long journey, and it's still not over. Like, I'm still figuring out as I'm going along. And I'm okay with that. Like, I have no, at this stage of my life, there's nothing in me that is making me be impatient. Right now, all I have is patience. So exercising the patience, if that's like the superpower is like being able to sit in the pocket and say, you know what, I know the goal is over there. There's no rush to get over there. There's only refinement to get over there. And if the refining process means to just be consistent, bruh, it's like a win-win situation. You feel me? Next question. Am I on the right path to where I want to go? Yes. Asterisk. Yes, I'm on the right path. There's evidence on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis that says, you know what? Yeah, you're right where you need to be. There's some shifts that need to happen, right? Hence the grown man shift. And I'm acknowledging that things, it's not done. Like the recipe is not ready yet. However, as I'm cooking the recipe, I'm sharing the taste. Like, what this tastes like? Need a little bit more salt? All right. What this tastes like? It need a little bit more garlic? All right. What this tastes like? It need a little bit more parsley? All right. Because in the refinement process, that's what it is. It's having something and sifting out the stuff you don't need, and then sifting out the stuff you don't need again, and then sifting and sifting and sifting into the point where it just becomes what it is, what the intention was. What tools do I need to get to the next step? The tools that I need to get to the next step is community. Because the more conversations I have, the more conversations I think about having, the more that I put myself in a position to use the intention, coupled with the consistency and crafting the thing, right? Working in it and working on it. It's making the runway clearer every time. Like, just every time, it's making it clearer. And where I want to go doesn't necessarily take me 10 years out, but it does take me through the week. It takes me through the month. It takes me through the next 90 days, right? Shout out to Tim Ferriss, because I got that from a podcast or a book, one of his books. And he was saying how, yeah, having a 5-year and a 10-year and a 20-year goal is great, but there's bite-sized steps that can be taken in the path of that. And he does 90-day sprints where he knows that because he has an intention and he sets out in a direction, in that 90 days, something by chance is going to happen. It's a chance meeting with somebody on a plane that, because I'm going to some conference and the flight got delayed, I end up sitting next to somebody and I spark up a conversation, and then boom, that guy does something that I never thought of. And it's a connection that I would not have made had I not gone down the journey in the first place. I wouldn't even be on a delayed flight if I wasn't going to wherever it is that this journey is taking me. And I can tell you from personal experience, it is happening exactly the way that he said it happens. Because in this 90 days that I've been putting this out, right? October 14th is when I dropped the episode. So you're talking October, November, December. Now it's January. So in the 120 days that this podcast has dropped, I've had all kinds of things happen, right? And those things happening is just confirmation that that thought that I had that one day about doing a podcast is accurate. It's just accurate. And it makes the path less daunting. It makes the path less filled with a bunch of confusion and I don't really know because it's 50-50. 50% of the time, I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly how to execute it. I know exactly where I want to shift my energy and put my energy. 50% of the time, I'll be lost. I ain't gonna hold you. I'll be lost. Like, damn, should I? Nah, I shouldn't do that. Maybe. Nah, maybe I shouldn't do that. But and that's just a part of the process. And acknowledging the fact that the process is the process, right? Acknowledging that along the process, there's going to be times that I'm not going to want to, and I'm not going to, right? There's going to be times that I'm not going to want to, and I'm going to do it anyway. There's going to be times that I'm not even thinking about doing it, but then I end up doing it, and there's a benefit to it, i.e., the episode with my son. Bruh, we was just going to be in our own world. He's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, but then an opportunity presented itself that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't planning. It just happened. Hey, Dad, can I use your phone so I can use ChatGPT? Well, I need the phone so I can ask myself these questions. What questions you got? Can I ask them for you? Had I not been open and present to that, the episode, what I was able to share with my son, because I'll be honest, my youngest son has elevated where I think and why I think, because there's a certain level of truth that I don't want to lie to him. I don't want him to have this idea that the world is a certain kind of way, good or bad, because I'm not being authentic with him. I'm telling him something that's not accurate, and I'm only telling him this thing that's not accurate because I don't want him to know the truth. No, age appropriate truth, of course, but truth nonetheless. And being able to share that authentic truth with my youngest son, and being able to take the ideas and chop them down where my 10-year-old can understand. And, obviously before he was 10, at any age, right? My oldest matured me to a place where people and places and things weren't more important than providing, right? Providing a safe space for my son to grow intellectually, for my son to grow emotionally, for my son to grow spiritually. I just didn't have the patience then. Like, I prayed for patience and then I had a kid. The irony, right? But it taught me something. My youngest son, it's like a 2.0 version of the maturation process. So, yeah, this path is being laid out it's cool, and it's filled with a lot of gratitude because, dog, who the fuck am I to have a podcast, to be talking to anybody and asking anybody questions when my life isn't perfect, it's not complete, it's not mad lit, you know what I mean? In the regards of public opinion. To me, my life is super lit. It's super lit because I have a wife that loves me, that I love, that I like, and she like me. I have kids that I love, that I like, and they like me. They love me too. You know? I have friends that when I pick up the phone and we converse about whatever we converse about, doesn't matter how long it's been since I've had conversations with whoever it is, it's like it never left. You know what I mean? And it doesn't escape me that that's not true for everybody, and it's not the norm for everybody. It's just I'm living my experience, and I'm empathetic to everyone else's experience. I'm considerate of everyone else's experience. However, I only have enough energy to really focus on the task at hand, the mission at hand, the purpose at hand, and how can I put and tuck value into all of that. Next question. Who would I need on the next journey with me? On the next journey, I don't know what the next journey is. I don't. The only journey that I'm on right now is the journey of maturation and whatever comes with it, right? I'm doing my best to not put so much gravity in what I'm expecting to happen per se, like it has to be like this, because I want to leave space for room. I want to leave space for room to stretch in an unintended place or to go in an unintended place. I don't want to box it all in where it's so like this that I don't recognize the forest from the trees. I have no interest in that. And that's the truth, right? Next question. Do I still want to continue this journey? I mean, I probably answered it in some way, shape, or form in every question I've been asking so far. Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I still want to continue this journey? Yes. Why? Because it's necessary. You have all of these think pieces and people talking about all of this shit that don't have shit to do with shit. 50-50 and the man is the prize and the woman is the prize and men ain't this and women ain't that and men need to do this and women need to do that. Bro, everybody just need to take care of themselves. Because I feel like the more I love on me, the easier it is to love on everybody else that's not me. Because you can't give what you don't have. I don't care what it is, what version of that it is. If you don't have money, you cannot give it. If you don't have time, you cannot give it. If you don't have peace, you cannot give it. If you don't have love, you cannot give it. If you don't have understanding, you cannot give it. So you cannot give what you do not have. And along this journey, I'm hoping to give what I feel like I have in abundance, which is understanding, which is patience, which is love, which is kindness, which is gratitude, which is all of those things that when I wake up in the morning and I look at my life and I'm like, damn, yo, I really get to live this life that I'm living. Again, I'm not a millionaire yet. I don't have the super fancy cars, but I have one. Paid off, right? I have what I need to complete the mission, or at least to carry the mission out. I have that. I have no intention on stopping the journey. I just don't. And that level of conviction, that 100 episode, that conviction to get there is like enjoying the journey, enjoying watching the maturation of me, looking in the mirror and being fucking proud of the person that's staring back at me. And not on some fake shallow shit because I got the best closet and I got the money in the bank and the bop, bop, bop. I got peace. Unadulterated peace. And to me, I feel like everybody wants that. Whatever version that is for you, whatever version that is for whoever you know, everybody wants peace. Everybody wants joy. Everybody wants excitement. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants to know that they matter and that people care about them. Period. And if that's the common thread that we all have, having these conversations, I'm hoping brings levity to that. It just, in every episode, it just brings it like, damn, that guy don't look like me. He don't live where I live. He didn't grow up the way I grew up. But damn, when he talked about whatever that thing was that he talked about, I felt that. I appreciate that. And that's what the journey is like. Like, no, dog, just stay in the gym. Keep shooting the shots. Keep bringing the process what it needs, which is my intention and my participation, right? Next question. I got a few more. It's a few more. What is calling my attention today? What is calling my attention today is my health. I'll be honest. I'm not unhealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but I could tighten up. And I've been tightening up, right? I'm doing 75 medium. I say it's not quite 75 hard. It's not quite 75 soft. It's right there in the middle, right? Getting up every day, showing up for myself every day. It's not so that I could look good and people could look at me. No, I want to be around to 100. Maybe 100 is the thing, but I do. I 100% would love to get to the age of 100. I don't want to go through the process of being sick and then my family has to bear the brunt of my poor decisions because I wasn't intentional about my health. Like the one thing that I actually have 100% control over, what I put in my mouth, what I put in my mind, what I put in my spirit, what I put in my heart, I have control over that. So when I say health, not just like my physical health, but my mental health, my emotional health, my financial health, my spiritual health, like all of those things, mind, body, soul shit. It just, that's where my attention is today. Because without it, how can I do any of the things that I'm aspiring to do? There's no way I could do it. And that's just the God's honest truth, right? What do I know to be true? Love. Love. I'm not going to say unconditional love because love does come with conditions. It does. But just authentic love. Because love, I feel like, carries a lot with it too. Last week episode, I was talking about how grief is heavy and it's not like love. But asterisk. Love is heavy. Because when you lose somebody you love, man, that shit hurts. Right? When you gain somebody you love, man, it's to the moon and back 300 million times. It just is what it is, right? So what do I know to be true? I know that love is true. I know that when doing things out of love, through love, with love, for love, I feel like there's a certain level of synergy that happens in that exchange. And that shit is just, it's beautiful. It is what it is, right? What encouragement or assurance do I need? So, a little bit of truth, vulnerability, and all of that, right? For a long time, being a people pleaser was just, go along to get along. Not like a yes man, like, yeah, and I don't really fuck with it. Nah, I don't fuck with that, but, it's kind of cool if you change it up a little bit. I'm finding a new place for self-assurance and self-encouragement and all of the self things that you can do. Because let's be honest, there's certain things that are strictly inside jobs. That's just the truth, right? Happiness is an inside job. Self-esteem is an inside job. Self-confidence is an inside job. Joy is an inside job. Happiness is an inside job, right? I feel like joy is a lot more inclusive than happiness. I feel like happiness is like, it's an appetizer. Happiness is like, man, happiness is really good, man. But I still want more. And I feel like joy is like the main course. Joy is like, I got joy, dog. You can't tell me shit today because the joy that I got on me, bruh, just watch out. Just excuse me out the way with all that petty shit because I got joy, dog. Feel me? And I feel like by recognizing that these things are inside jobs, I'm no longer looking outside of me for assurance. I'm not looking outside of me for encouragement. I accept it. I appreciate it. There's times where I don't think I need it and I get it and I'm like, man, that's cool, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not. I'm pretty convicted that what I'm doing right now in this timeline is what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm looking out in the world and I'm seeing that there's people hurting, there's people lost, there's people looking for people. Like, we just went through the pandemic, dog. And to say that the world is not a different place in the wake of the pandemic, I think that is a very misplaced thought process. We are social creatures, and being social is where we get the thing that makes us human, right? You ever be around somebody and their laugh makes you laugh? Or be around somebody and you laugh so hard your stomach hurt? I can't front. I have some of those moments like internally. Like, I'm just like that. Like, anybody that know me, especially anybody that went to high school with me, no. Like, I was a nut ass nigga at one point. Still am. Just a little bit more refined, right? But man, being social isn't because I want something from the exchange that I'm not willing to give it. I'm willing to give equal in this exchange. Sometimes I give more. I can't hold you. But I'm not giving more because I want somebody to like me and I want people to love me. And I'm giving more because in that moment, what I assessed, what I surmised was that something more is needed. A little bit more than what I was willing to give initially. And now that I've assessed, let me put some more in this. So the encouragement and the assurance is not coming from the world outside of me. It's coming from within. It's coming from the fact that on some 5 Heartbeat shit, is there a heart? Is there a heart in the house tonight? Stand up. Like, I really feel that way because you can get a lot done with love. A lot. Like, a lot. And I'm here for it. I just am. Right? Next question. What will I wish I had done now 4 months from now? Stay consistent. Because 4 months ago, I can't hold you. It took me a while to pull the trigger on the first episode because I was in my head. I wasn't leading with love. I wasn't saying to, the voices in my head like, yeah, man, who are you, nigga? You ain't nobody. Yeah, okay, you got a little podcast, but who, nigga, everybody got a podcast. You ain't no theologian. You're not a psychology major. You're not a doctor. You're not a therapist. I don't need to be none of those things to share my experience. I don't. And 9 times out of 10, having conversations with people, you realize, like, dog, I'm glad I had the conversation. I am. Because I'm walking away feeling like I gave something of value, and the thing that I gave of value wasn't necessarily something that can be measured. Like, you can measure money, you can measure time, but certain things you just can't measure. You know what I mean? My dad saying that, when your purpose is bigger than your personal gain, that's when you'll be successful. That's value. He didn't give me anything. It was just a gem that he gave me that at the time when I heard it, it just liberated the shit out of me. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. am I putting doors up where it ain't no doors? Am I boxing myself in just for the sake of boxing myself in? So, what will I wish I had done now, 4 months from now, is just stay consistent. That's it. The time is going to pass anyway. I've heard that so many times. And at 44, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's been making sense for quite some time. But now it's like, dog, if 5 months is going to pass, right, I might as well put, in this case, 4 months, I might as well put whatever it is that I want in the 4 months. So in 4 months, I can reap the benefit. I can get what I'm giving. If I'm giving the consistency, the thing is going to happen. That's just how it works. Every day, what they say, the adage of like a drop of water, right? A drop of water is harmless when it drops on something one time. But that one drop of water dropping in the same spot over time creates caves, like caverns, I mean. Look at the Grand Canyon. I don't know how exactly the body of water that was in there disappeared, but I can tell you over time, as that water trickled away, we have one of the 8th wonders of the world. As a result, a single drop of water can put a dent, a hole, a crack, a space in a rock because it's the consistency that does it. So if consistency is the thing that's going to bring all of these things, thoughts, emotions, places, traveling, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, dog, 4 months, we're in January, it'll be my birthday, 45. And I'm not pulling up the 45 on some bullshit. I'm not pulling up the 45 feeling like, man, if I would have just stayed at it for the 4 months, I've sang that song too many times that I can count, and I don't want to sing that shit no more. It sounds like chalk on a chalkboard. It just does. So 4 months from now, yes, consistency. That's where I'm going with it. And I think those are all the questions that I do have that, semi-prepared because I left the house without my phone. I came to make sure that, everything is ready for a client of mine. And in doing so, I'm like, dog, I got the time, I got the space. Let me just go ahead and rock out because consistency is the key. Consistency is the way. Consistency is the wave that I plan on riding on forever. Am I going to get tired? I don't know. In the process says you get tired. So at some point, whenever it is that I do get tired, I'm hoping that I've built enough consistency in where I have space to take breaks. I have space to take time off. I have space to actually live the life that I'm doing all of this to live for, and I can live in it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. I do. The first episode reel is like 700,000 views right now. And there's no way that I planned that or anything. It just, again, is evidence that having that thought of doing that thing that you say you want to do, when you do it, bro, the universe be on some, oh, that's what we doing, boy, girl, you feel me? Like, yo, all right, say less. And then the confirmations come. They just do. So, again, I appreciate every single person pulling up to the podcast, every share, every like, every comment, all of that stuff. And speaking of, please do not forget, if you want to reach out to me with any topics, you want to be a guest yourself, you know somebody who would be a perfect guest for the podcast, please send an email, grownmanshitpodcast@gmail.com. grownmanshitpodcast@gmail.com. Yes, my wife, I'm going to be changing the email soon. It's going to be at grownmanshift.com, and you can expect that. Of course, like, share, subscribe. Please like, share, subscribe. The traction on this has been very surprising, mind-blowing in a lot of instances, and gratifying all the same. So, yeah, man. Until next time, I appreciate you. For real, for real. Please continue to rock with me. And, yeah, man. I think that's it. I'm laying the plane. Grown man shit. Mr. Norradine.